Hey, welcome back to a very new vlog, but if you're new here, my name's Katja and on this channel I talk mostly about K-pop, books, comics, language studies, and this time around I am freaking excited because Stray Kids is having a comeback this week with their album Rockstar. It will be released on Friday and today is Monday, but there is enough for me to talk about during this week because there are some mangas that I really want to read. One is actually a BTS one. Also, I am reading a book that is very hyped in the YA community. So all the good stuff, and I cannot wait to take you guys along with me. The book that I have been obsessed about for the last, I think, 2 days has been A Study in Drowning. And honestly, guys, I don't know how to explain this book. So let me try, but yeah, if it's all over the place, I'm so sorry, guys, because this book has so many layers. This book is about Effie, and she is an architect student, but officially she wanted to study literature, but women are not allowed in this world to study literature. Don't ask me why. But then Effie gets the chance to do an architect's project on the house of her favorite author. When she gets at that house, she has to do this architect's project, but well, the author is already dead, so she gets hired by his son. But a lot of strange things are going on there, and maybe the worst thing is that she has to work together with a literature student who she doesn't like. He isn't from the same country, I believe it's called. So the thing is, there is a thing between the North and South, and then there are two countries that are basically at war with each other. So the dynamic between the two characters, the literature student and Effie, is very interesting, but to be honest, that was my favorite part of the whole book. I mean, I'm still reading it, but I am in the last stretch, like a little over 20 minutes left. And I don't know how else to explain this book because it's so weird, but in all the good ways. But I wished for the very first time that I was not listening to this book. I wished I was reading it because this book is filled with so many beautiful quotes that I'm just in awe by the writer, her writing style. The author is, by the way, Ava Reed. Yeah, she does a really good job. Audiobook is finished and now I'm gonna read Seven Fates, or better known for the webtoon that is based on the BTS members. I am so freaking excited. So here's the thing. It's Thursday evening and I just found the time to finally watch Lennyverse. Normally I try to watch it on Wednesday evening, but for the last few weeks I had to prepare for presentations that I have on Thursday, and I actually just got out of my meeting after a very nice shower. But one of the things that I wanted to mention is that I ordered the Fimi Bidi Bobbidi Boop photo book of Le Servim. I am excited about that photo book. I think it's gonna be even better than Day Off, because I think for Day Off they were not necessarily expecting to make a photo book because they were all made by their own phones. But this time they had a professional camera. After I watched Lennyverse, I'm gonna prepare myself, of course, for Stray Kids Rockstar for tomorrow. So far, I am liking it so much, the La 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 title track. And is it just me or is it based on One Piece? I love how nerdy they are and put always manga and anime references in their comebacks, especially the last few. I love it. Oh. it's so cute. Yo, this is definitely their best title track. Like, the last four were definitely really good. They were really good in their own way, but this brings me right back to the In Life and No Easy era. And it's catchy, like, how do I say this? It's like we listen to a Stray Kids song, a typical older song of them, but we also know that they only started making this title track less than a year ago. So, wow. I just woke up. I was not ready for this. This was so incredibly good. I started my day watching the music video and now it's already pitch black outside. I had a day full of running errands, even going to the dentist. But I can finally talk about the music video, and that I'm also gonna share some first feelings, reactions about the rest of the mini album. First things first, I need to get this out of the way because I can't even speak. I'm flabbergasted. I need 20 more watches of the music video because, like, my English is not even Englishing. I need to watch the music video at least 20 more times, and I've already watched it probably 20 times. I'm not even joking. It's literally that amount of times of watching, even though I had so many errands to run. So here's the thing. There are so many things happening in that music video. You can see so many spoilers and also Easter eggs thrown in there. Okay, maybe not necessarily spoilers, but then again, you can tell the things that were spoiled during the Stray Kids concerts, which is so much fun. So here's the thing. One of the things that I noticed was there is this scene with Han. He is tied up, and then you see him on the ship, and then in the next scene you see him walking away from himself tied up, but then with the clown mask on. And I was like, wait, this definitely means that all the storylines that the Stray Kids lore is built, they are all coming together, I have the feeling. Like, we of course have the little kids come in and they represent the boys, but you also see so many things happening. The pirate team, basically I don't know how to say this, are they the bad guys? I mean, there are the jokers, clowns kind of guys, and then you also have, what's the other one? Oh, the one in front of the white screen. So pirates, clowns, white screen. It does not sound really good. So you see that all happening, and I have the feeling that coming from 5 Star, so 5 Star the album, because now we're gonna talk about the music before we can move on with the Stray Kids lore, because we have to point out 5 Star first, the last full album. And the reason that album, the way how that album was built, was because it's worth 5 stars. It's really damn good, and they show different sides of themselves, which is amazing. And first, when I saw all the singles, the songs that were gonna be on Rockstar, I was so surprised again that after 5 Star there was again an album with no Ratcha line and also no solos or whatever. Even though we are very used to the units of Stray Kids also having their place on the album, but this time around, already for 2 consecutive albums, it hasn't been done. And I have the feeling the reason why they did that was because of the Stray Kids lore. Maybe there's a technical reason that I didn't, or they had no inspiration, or they wanted to have a change of style. But personally, I think it fits the lore perfectly because of the fact that they are tying everything up. Going back to 5 stars, you see them explore the different styles that we know Stray Kids for, and I really like that album. I think it's a very strong album. I love that we see so many different kind of colors in that album. But moving forward to today, to Rockstar, you can tell they are in Hanjin's words. When I watched the intro to this album, Rockstar doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be rock music. It also means free-spirited. I mean, I believe it was also Channing who said it. It was Hanjin and Channing, we were both talking about the concept of it. And I agree for 100% because rock music is not just hard guitars, headbanging or anything like that. It's also being free spirited with your music, and I definitely think that this album Rockstar is doing that. It's definitely going back but also re-exploring this Stray Kids image of the past but also moving forward. So one of the things that also the guy said in the intro was that like the 5 star album, you could measure it like 5 stars, but with Rockstar you can't measure it because it's so free spirited, and I can definitely tell how much energy and effort they put into the track list, and I'm just blown away by the track list. And I also do think it's fun that there are all group songs, even though I love the units or the rachas. It makes them them, and I like to see that part. Moving to the storyline. So with 5 star, you see them explore a different storyline of the Stray Kids lore. But with 5 star, everything comes together. So the lore we saw with Case 143, and that album is called Maxident. With Ordinary, we see them explore a completely different side again. And in this case, I think it's so important, if you really want to understand the Stray Kids lore for this album, you have to watch the film they made for Leaf. Because in what world is it possible that a song like Megaverse and Leaf can be on the same album? But in this case, I think it can. And that Megaverse is the first song on the album, I don't think it's a coincidence. Like, I truly believe that a strong track list, the order of the track list is so important. And by starting by Megaverse, you are basically telling the story that all the plot lines and all the storylines are coming together, which is so good. Because in the music video of La 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 La, how do I pronounce it? Anyway. Anyway, with the title track, you see in the music video the different storylines, and by starting off with Megaverse, it just makes sense. I also really like that the song after that is Blind Spot. It tells definitely a story, the story we don't see of the kids when they're not on stage. And then Complex, at first I thought it was a little bit of an odd one. But I will get back to you guys by the end of this whole video when I do the wrap up and do a full walkthrough of all the songs. So for now, I want to talk about Cover Me. I really like the song. It's a winter song. It feels like a warm blanket. And then Leave, it's definitely going in about the topics that were talked about in the previous tracks. And of course I love Soy So Bad. It's a brilliant song, and I'm so happy that they did a Korean version. Also that they did from the title track a rock edition. All in all, I love this album. It's so good. It's well thought out, and I am just still speechless, and I cannot wait to listen to it even more and explore more of the Stray Kids lore that's going on. So these were my first very rambling thoughts about the music and the lore and everything around it. Right now I'm gonna watch My Happy Marriage, the live action movie, because I need to go back to the world. I was not okay when the anime was over. I was heartbroken. I needed more. Not heartbroken due to the story. It was more like I wanted to get more out of the world building. It's Saturday and I finished the manhwa Seven Fates that's based on BTS, kind of. No, actually, so the thing is, I forgot to talk about where this manga is about. That had to do with the fact that I myself didn't know either before I started. But what I think is really cool is that this manhwa is based on a Korean mythology that's about tiger hunters. I was hesitant to say it because I think it's really fun that in the manhwa they call it by their Korean name, Boom. Boom? Boom? I don't know how to pronounce it. I always want to pronounce this very Dutch. But they are tiger hunters. But the thing is, okay, so this is a little bit of critique. Let me put this manhwa down. I did not like how the story was built. It was very much feeling like a very long intro, and I wish there was something more. However, I did like where the story was heading. I liked that there was not an information dump of a lot of characters, but however, there was also a problem with that because there was not much story building. Yeah, that a piece of critique, but also I liked that it was not an overflow of information, but I wish there was more story building. Other than that, I am excited to read the next volume that will come out in the new year, which is crazy because it sounds so far away, but then again, it will be only in less than 2 months. Wow. Anyway, on to the next day. Welcome to the wrap up. I firstly want to talk about My Happy Marriage, the live action. First of all, I've read the first and the second of the manga series, and 3 and 4 are staring over there at me. And I've seen the entire animation. So I did have some input how the storyline was gonna go. And I do really like the adaptation of the live action, especially the first half. There were certain things, of course, that they couldn't do in the live action because of timing or because it's basically impossible. This live action was already almost 2 hours. I wished, however, that they did do certain things differently. One of the things is the main character, her mom. I think there is something that when the main character touches a tree, it never gets explained why she is touching that tree. But it's very important because it's the start of what happens next. But in the live action, it's like, oh, she touches a tree and you see something happening and that's it. No, that should not have happened. So that's definitely one of the things that I was like, what? However, while we're talking about her mom, the Usaba family, I did like that the live action wasn't so centered about the Usaba, because that was definitely something that I thought was very boring while watching the animation. It just simply took too long to explain just something that could have been simply done. However, there was a very important scene that I did saw in the animation and not in the live action, and that's that I'm so bad with names. Kyoko? Please tell me his name's Kyoko. Yeah, Kyoko. Nee, Kyoka. Mr. Kudo. That he gives her a choice, Mio, our main character, and that was missing from the live action. However, the first half was still the best half of the whole live action, also due to the fact that I think the emotions were very strong and I think the actors played very well into it. But the second half was a bit sloppy. I know that the writers had to do certain things differently when it comes down to building the action scenes and whatnot. But because they had to make certain decisions, I think, again, also with storyline of the mom, certain things didn't make sense anymore. So I wish that they had edited it a bit more to the live action and maybe get off this storyline. Also, the thing is, of course, there are so many adaptations because this was a light novel first, then the manga came, then the live action and the animation all at once. So we know that there are so many adaptations of just a novel that it gets overwhelming. Nevertheless, even though I think the second half was a bit more sloppy, I did like the ending of it all more than the animation, which I was surprised about. That was it about My Happy Marriage. Now let's get into Stray Kids. Here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest, I haven't looked too closely to the lyrics, but I did got a bit more insight. Also, oh my, I completely forgot to talk about something that stood out to me immediately, and that is that the title track is so One Piece coded. I'm so happy that I started watching the live action, otherwise I would not have understood what was going on. I think I talked about Megaverse and La La La, the title track, already a lot, so I'm just gonna talk about the other songs also, because I've been talking about the Stray Kids album a lot on Friday, but I do have some other thoughts about the rest of the songs on the album. So first start with Blind Spot. I don't know why, but it hits such a nostalgia feeling inside me. Yeah, I think Blind Spot is actually one of my favorite songs on here. But then again, I think that this album is so next level. There is not a bad song on here. I, again, don't have the words to explain it. They just created something with this album that's, they moved to another level, and I am curious how they are building themselves up as artists. It's very unfortunate that they didn't got a Grammy nomination, because there were so many things that they put the effort in for the Grammys. But yeah, the Grammys are being annoying as usual. Yeah, let's not talk about the Grammys. It won't go well. So Blind Spot, I think it's such a nostalgia song. I also think it's one of their strongest songs on here. When it comes down to Complex, I first thought, because of the sound at the start of the song, the police car sound, I was surprised that it was not on the Maxident album. But then again, when we do look into the lyrics a little bit, it does make sense that it is on this album. I do think, however, that this song flirts a little bit with their Maxident comeback, because of how they're talking about love and imperfections. So I definitely think that's one of the things. Also, when we go into the order of the album, because if you didn't know already, I think orders of the song order of an album is very important. It makes sense that it's over here, especially after Blind Spot and then coming to Cover Me, which feels like a warm blanket in the winter. And I think this album is also perfectly timed when it comes down to putting it out at the end of autumn. Did that make any sense? I really hope so. And then we have Leave, which it feeds into the nostalgia, especially when we look into Korean music industry. In general, I'm not talking about K-pop, just the general K-pop, sorry, the general Korean music sound. And it feels so well in there. And I love what they did with Kiss Flicks and putting the song in there. Also, I think with this song, it's really feeding again into nostalgia. And then with Sociopath, I thought that was a little bit interesting. Like, I get why there was a Korean version of Sociopath. But then again, I really would have liked if Leaf was the last one. But since they also put the rock version of La 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 at the end, I get why they also put Sociopath in there. But for me, it didn't necessarily have to be there. However, to fill up an album a little bit more, even though it's a media album, I understand that Sociopath and the rock version of La 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 are there. But it's not necessarily... Okay, no, you know what? I'm thinking while I'm talking that's not a good way to go. Sociopath could have been earlier in the album, or is it just me? I mean, it could have been after Blind Spot. Huh. Other than that, I definitely think that Stray Kids really thought this album well out in terms of, in a way, going back through their old sound, but also leveling up. I don't want to say I'm curious to their next comeback because these boys need rest, but I am always curious how they are developing themselves and what they're gonna do next and what they are gonna explore in this new rock scene and how they are gonna explore their new music style, because in a way, even though yes, I said it's old and new, they are getting more comfortable in, even more comfortable, because after, I mean, New Easy was also them being very comfortable by making noise music, quote unquote, but they are leveling up so much that I am just curious how they are gonna grow from here on as artists. You know what, we'll just have to see. I think this is just a banger, and this album, to describe it in one word, let's put in a cheeky little reference. It's God's menu. Anyway, that was it for this week's vlog. My album hasn't come in yet. Apparently there were already some stores in the Netherlands that had it, and I'm so frustrated because I ordered it at a Belgium store. It's gonna be fine. My albums will arrive in a week, I hope. I hope you liked this video, and to see you next time. Bye!